If you're a fan of Andrew Huberman, you know he often talks about the importance of getting regular blood work done so you can optimize your health, fitness, and performance.
Okay, so everyone should get blood work as early as possible.
Get your blood work done.
Right.
Like, if you want to find out that, get your blood work done.
Everyone should have their blood work
But
done. I'm a big believer in getting blood tests taken.
He says if you're trying any new behavioral tools, you should be getting blood work before and after to know that you're doing the right things and not causing any possible negative side effects. So what blood tests does he actually recommend? As a medical doctor myself, I was curious to find out. I've listened to a lot of his podcasts and he often talks about getting blood work done, but he never actually specifies what blood tests we need to choose. If you do a quick Google search, all you can find is random Reddit streams with people asking the same questions but no actual specific answer. I think potentially this is because one of his main sponsors is InsideTracker, and obviously he wants you to do his blood work through them. So instead of telling you what specific blood tests to get, he just says use InsideTracker, which is fair enough. They're his sponsor, he gets paid by them, he needs to promote them. Now if we go back to Google, the first thing that comes up when we type in Huberman blood tests is InsideTracker times Huberman. And if you click on the first link, you get a nice picture of Huberman's face. Scroll down a bit, tells you a bit about InsideTracker, and then there's a few plans here. And I'm assuming if you're Huberman, you'll be going for the most expensive plan, which is, wow, $659, and that seems to get you all the blood tests that you need. But the issue with this is that it's only available in the United States. And if you're wanting to use InsideTracker outside the United States, you have to go get your blood test yourself, and then you have to upload your blood results yourself to InsideTracker, and they tell you from your results what's good, what's bad, what you need to change. And that service in itself is $119. So I'm based in Australia and I wanted to see if we have an InsideTracker equivalent. Now you'd think because I'm a doctor I could just order the blood test for myself, but actually that's not really recommended. We always say doctors shouldn't treat themselves. They shouldn't prescribe to themselves. They shouldn't order investigations for themselves either. So I have to go through a third party. And one of the first ones that came up was iScreen. Now I found some other ones like iMedical. I have no idea why they all begin with I, but I just went for iScreen because it's quite a user-friendly interface. Now they offer a lot of blood tests, but I need to pick a plan that kind of matches the ultimate plan from InsideTracker. And I came across two. We've got the Wellman check and then the sports hormone check. And in terms of the blood tests they offer, they're actually pretty similar. The only thing that they're missing is the ApoB, which apparently is a good marker for predicting cardiovascular disease. But you can actually add this on yourself if you're willing to pay an extra $49. So I've decided to go for the sport hormone check because it was slightly cheaper than the Wellman check, and it came with a few extra tests. There were some tests missing, however, so I had to add them on separately to my basket, and these were calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. I decided not to get the ApoB one as well because it was an extra $49 and I don't really need to know if my cardiovascular risk is increased or not. I'm already trying to do my best with my diet and exercise anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. And in total that comes to $256, and bear in mind that's Australian dollars as well, and $256 at the time of making this video is roughly $170 US, which is an insane price difference. That's nearly a quarter of the price of the InsideTracker plan. So yeah, I'm actually quite glad I don't live in the States because this is way cheaper. Now, before I go get my blood taken, let's have a look what they have to offer. A lot of these tests I order pretty much every day at work, and they only really need to be done if someone's unwell or they're displaying any symptoms. You're really doing these blood tests to screen for a specific medical condition. If you're a healthy person, it's almost quite pointless, to be honest. So the baseline blood test that you pretty much do in everyone that comes into hospital is your full blood count, your kidney function, and your liver function test. And I can pretty much guarantee that when I get these done that they're going to come back normal. I'm a healthy person and I haven't got any symptoms, haven't got any illnesses at the moment. Now the test that I am very interested in specifically is the testosterone check, and that comes under this male hormone panel, and that includes free testosterone and SHBG.
Could you define SHBG for our listeners, please?
It is sex hormone binding globulin. It is the protein that binds up all androgens and estrogen in the body. And if your SHBG is very high, then your DHT can run higher because it's not metabolized, but there's not quite as much free DHT. So you want to balance between a high enough free DHT and a high enough total DHT.
And I actually think this is probably the main reason I'm doing these tests, is I'm very curious to check what my testosterone level is and how it compares to the general population. If you're a follower of this channel, you probably know I'm really into my calisthenics. Being strong is very important in calisthenics, and having a good testosterone level is really important in building muscle and getting stronger. Also, I've just turned 30 and apparently your testosterone level will start to decline once you hit the age 30, which isn't ideal, but I'm really curious to get a baseline and see how that changes over time. And if in the future I was ever to choose to supplement testosterone, for example when I'm really old, I would never want to supplement it at a super physiological level, so a level that's more than my normal range. Now, part of me wishes that I actually done this sooner, because I could have compared the levels of testosterone in my teenage years to my testosterone now, which I think would be pretty interesting.
I was in my late 20s, maybe even my early 30s, and I'm still dying to know what my blood work was when, for instance, I was 17 and I felt a certain way.
The next test we have here is IGF-1 levels. It stands for insulin-like growth factor levels, which I don't actually know much about, but apparently it's a useful indicator of average growth hormone levels. And here we have cortisol, which I think will be interesting to see. Cortisol is often known as the stress hormone, but we know we need cortisol, and it's actually a very important hormone. And we want to see our cortisol level to be highest at the start of the day, and delayed cortisol increases in the later part of the day is often associated with a number of health problems, including worse sleep, depression and anxiety. The next set of tests here we have is inflammation. In a healthy person, I would expect these to be completely normal, but in myself, I do suffer from an inflammatory arthritis, like an autoimmune condition. So I might expect to see a slightly raised CRP. Hopefully not. Usually that only raises when I'm flaring, which I'm not really at the moment. Blood glucose, I'm not diabetic, so I'm not expecting that to be out of the normal range at all, really. Cholesterol should be interesting. I like to think I live a pretty healthy lifestyle, do a lot of exercise, eat a reasonably good diet, so hopefully this should all come back normal as well. And the last test we have here is the vitamin D test, which I'm also very interested to see. I think I may well have been deficient back when I lived in the UK, where there's no sunshine, it's cloudy and raining all the time. But now I live in sunny Australia, I'm hoping my vitamin D levels are normal, if not higher than normal. And actually one of the main reasons I moved to Australia was to get more sunshine. The sun makes me feel good, and if you've listened to enough Huberman, you know the reasons for this. It's all to do with your dopamine, your adrenaline, your cortisol, your circadian rhythm, your vitamin D levels. The list goes on. The sun is so important for general health, and being in Australia just provides me with that every day. So nice. So that's enough talking. Let's go and get these blood tests. Amazingly, there's actually a collection centre down my road, less than 5 minutes walk away, so I literally just order the test online and walk down the road and get the blood test done. Didn't actually get any footage of them drawing the blood, mainly for like confidentiality reasons. You know what getting a blood test like, and if you don't, here's some random stock footage of someone getting their blood taken. Now we've got our blood, so we just need to sit back and wait for the results. Okay, so 2 days have passed since I got my blood test, and I've just got an email saying the results are in. So let's go on the laptop and see what they show. Okay, Chris Grayson, your test results, sports hormone check, male hormone panel. Okay, so testosterone 21, and that seems to be right bang in the middle of the normal range. So they've got 10 to 33 as normal, and that's right in the middle, so good. Free testosterone, that's the one, that's the important one. So at 490, free testosterone is your unbound testosterone, which is available to the body's tissues. And for me, it was 490, which again seems to be bang in the middle, which is quite good. Maybe slightly more than the middle. SHBG. So SHBG is a protein that binds tightly to testosterone. I guess if you have more SHBG, it would mean a lower free testosterone, and my SHBG is on the lower end of normal, which I think is a good thing. Estradiol within the normal range, not too worrying. FSH in the normal range. LH again in the normal range, but actually on the high end of normal. Progesterone, and that's come back as normal as well. Prolactin, so my one abnormal result at 415, a hormone which is produced in the pituitary gland and plays a role in reproductive health. Raised levels in men can cause reduced sex drive, lack of energy, erectile dysfunction, and fertility problems. Well, that's a bit worrying. Why is my prolactin raised? Okay, let's keep going through this. So my IGF-1 is 21, which is on the low end of normal, and IGF-1 plays a role in maintaining tissue and organ function throughout adulthood. It helps regulate bone density, muscle mass, and cognitive function, and it has been implicated in the aging process. Adrenocortex function. So my cortisol, or the stress hormone, so mobilizes the body's nutritional resources in stressful situations. Prolonged elevation of cortisol can cause fatigue, immune dysfunction, and impact to sex hormones. So mine was on the high end of normal. DHEA. So this is a long-acting adrenal hormone, that's on the low end of normal. Full blood count, so I was expecting these to be all normal, so let's just quickly scroll through. And yeah, as expected, they're all completely normal. Liver function tests, as I expected again, all completely normal. Kidney function should again be completely normal. Yeah. Perfect. Inflammation. CK is 340. Creatine kinase levels are elevated, which may be an indicator of muscle damage. Elevated creatine kinase levels can be seen following intense periods of exercise where muscle damage occurs, or in individuals with thyroid disease, for example. I suspect my CK is raised because they did tell me to stop intense exercise for 2 days leading up to the test, and I didn't engage in intense exercise, but I did continue to exercise. I think the day before I went rollerblading, I did some volleyball. So it's up a little bit. Maybe if I completely stopped exercise for 2 days prior, I would have been within the normal range. And the CRP is 0.4, so that's pretty good actually. I was expecting it could be raised with my inflammatory condition, but it's very, very normal. My blood glucose, like I said, is completely normal. I don't have diabetes, and that's a fasting glucose, so I hadn't eaten for the whole night before getting my blood test in the morning. So I was interested to get my cholesterol check, and if we look through it, total cholesterol 3.6, LDL, HDL, triglycerides, non-HDL. So they're all within the normal range. So according to this, I'm at a relatively low risk of developing cardiovascular disease, which I assumed would be the case. My HDLs are on the low side, so HDL cholesterol is often referred to as good cholesterol, as it helps remove excess cholesterol from the bloodstream and can protect against development of heart disease. So that's on the low side. Maybe I can find a way to bump that up. That's the end of the sport hormone panel, and we'll click onto the add-on test that I did as well. So that comes under the custom health check. And the add-ons I did were magnesium. So my magnesium is within normal range, maybe on the low end of normal. So I was considering supplementing magnesium, and this test has just given me a good idea of what my level is at the moment. So I think I will start supplementing magnesium. Mainly I'm interested in trying it for sleep, as Huberman recommends, potentially to offset muscle cramps and stuff in the gym. My calcium levels, completely normal, as I expected. And then also my vitamin D levels are within the normal range, as I expected they would be living in sunny Australia. They are on the sort of low average level, so I could always go get more sunshine or even supplement vitamin D if I wanted an even better effect from that. So that's the results, which to actually my surprise was quite interesting and useful. Everything was pretty much in the normal range except the prolactin being raised at 415 and CK being elevated at 340. The CK, or creatine kinase, is elevated, I'm pretty sure, because I did exercise the day before. However, I might get this rechecked because this is quite a useful indicator as to whether or not I'm overtraining. And when I check it again next time, I'll definitely make sure I take 2 days of rest before doing the blood test. The prolactin being elevated could be a bit more concerning, but like they said in results, it's unlikely that a one-off result is of any clinical significance, and I definitely don't have any of the symptoms that they suggest, including a decreased sex drive, erectile dysfunction, visual disturbances or headaches, or galactorrhea, which is basically milk from the male nipple. Definitely don't have any of those symptoms, so I'm sure if I do the test again, it will come back normal. However, I think it's quite important that I recheck this test, as it can be an indicator of a more serious underlying medical condition. I got to see my testosterone levels, which were pretty much bang in the middle of normal. And now that I have a baseline, I can try a few behavioral tools or natural supplements to see if I can push that level to the higher end of normal. In addition, I'll always have that result now, so I can look back in later years of my life to my testosterone levels at age 30. So if I were to choose to supplement testosterone, say when I'm 60 or something, I'll never have more testosterone than my 30-year-old self, which would be unhealthy for me. There are a few tests which came back normal, but indicate that I could supplement if I wanted to, for example, magnesium and vitamin D. So would I recommend doing Huberman's blood work? And the answer to that is yes, I would recommend it. I think it's especially useful for anyone who does any physical training. It's interesting to see, and it could help optimize your training. In addition, there were a couple of abnormal results flagged, so I'll get those rechecked to make sure there's nothing more serious going on. and make sure I'm not overtraining as well. It's also showing me I have some leeway to add in some supplements, for example the magnesium and vitamin D, and I can see if adding in those supplements makes any difference to my sleep, mood or performance. And if you want to see a full list of all the blood tests Huberman's InsideTracker recommends, I'll bring it up on the screen now, and you can pause the video here if you want to take note and order them for yourself without using InsideTracker. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I'll be making a follow-up video to this video after I've made a few adjustments to my behaviors and supplement stack. I really want to see if I can naturally increase my testosterone levels, and I also want to check if those previous abnormal results, the prolactin and the CK, come back to normal when I get them rechecked. I'll do all those things, get my bloods rechecked, make a new video and upload it to this channel. If you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.